Discipline versus motivation. Why motivation fails and what works instead. The motivation mirage. Motivation is seductive. It shows up in flashy quotes, hype videos, and early morning adrenaline. It promises transformation, discipline, and achievement, if only you could stay motivated. But here's the truth no one tells you. Motivation is a mirage. It appears real from a distance, shimmering with hope and energy, but when you try to rely on it day after day, it disappears just when you need it most. You feel fired up one moment, but drained the next. You set big goals while you're inspired, but abandon them when life gets inconvenient. Motivation can get you started, but it can't sustain you. That's why the people who achieve real, lasting success in fitness, business, creativity, or spiritual growth don't rely on motivation. They rely on something stronger, discipline. Discipline is quiet. It doesn't make speeches or wait for the perfect mood. It simply shows up. It builds habits where motivation falls apart. It stays when you're tired, discouraged, or afraid. And it's the difference between starting something great and finishing it. In the chapters that follow, we'll expose why motivation fails, what discipline actually is, and how to build it into the fabric of your life, so you're no longer at the mercy of your moods. Because if you're serious about growth, you can't wait to feel like it. You have to become the kind of person who does it anyway. The problem with motivation. Motivation is often misunderstood. We treat it like a fuel source, something we need before we can act. But here's the flaw. Motivation is emotional, unstable, and easily influenced by circumstances. 1. It's based on feelings. Motivation is like the weather. It changes constantly. You feel it when you're inspired, when things are going well, or when you're chasing something new. But what happens when the excitement wears off? What happens when you're tired, stressed, or discouraged? You stop. You wait. You tell yourself, I'll get back to it when I feel motivated again. And so the cycle repeats. Bursts of activity followed by long stretches of inaction. 2. It's unreliable. If your progress depends on whether you feel motivated, you'll only make progress some of the time. You'll start things, diets, workouts, businesses, journals, but rarely finish them. The problem isn't your desire. It's your dependence on a feeling to take action. Motivation is good for starting. It's terrible for finishing. 3. It breeds inconsistency. Motivation encourages a start-stop pattern. One day you go all in, the next you crash. There's no rhythm, no structure, no momentum. In this state, you become addicted to starting over, always looking for the next wave of inspiration instead of building steady, deliberate habits. 4. It creates a false standard. We assume that successful people are always motivated. They're not. They've just trained themselves to act without it. They've stopped waiting and started working, whether they feel like it or not. If you've been chasing motivation, it's not your fault. The world markets it like it's the answer. But the truth is simple. You don't need to feel inspired. You need to become someone who takes action regardless of inspiration. In the next section, we'll break down what actually works and why discipline is the missing piece. What is discipline? If motivation is a spark, discipline is the firewood, the structure that keeps the flame alive long after the spark is gone. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's not glamorous. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't care if you're tired, bored, or uninspired. Discipline shows up, does the work, and leaves the excuses behind. Where motivation is emotional, discipline is principled. Where motivation is fleeting, discipline is steady. Where motivation depends on your mood, discipline depends on your decision. Key traits of discipline. Consistency. Discipline creates rhythm. It turns actions into habits and habits into character. Integrity. Discipline keeps promises you make to yourself, even in silence. Focus. It eliminates distractions and puts your energy where it matters. Endurance. It stays the course, especially when the road gets hard. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Abraham Lincoln attributed, discipline is freedom. Ironically, discipline, which sounds rigid, is actually what creates freedom. It frees you from the roller coaster of emotional highs and lows. It frees you from procrastination, guilt, and regret. It frees you to build the life you say you want. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's about showing up today, especially when it's hard, because who you're becoming matters more than how you feel. In the next section, We'll look at why discipline works and how it outperforms motivation every single time. Why discipline works. Motivation may get you moving, but discipline keeps you going. It doesn't rely on hype, energy, or emotion. It relies on commitment, structure, and repetition, the real ingredients of transformation. Here's why discipline works when motivation doesn't. 1. Discipline builds consistency. Motivation is unpredictable. Discipline is dependable. Success in any area, whether it's health, business, relationships, or personal growth, comes down to small actions repeated over time. Discipline ensures those actions happen, day in and day out, no matter how you feel. Consistency compounds. You might not see the results today or tomorrow, but over weeks, months, and years, discipline lays the foundation for mastery. 2. Discipline creates habits. When you repeat disciplined actions long enough, they become habits, automatic behaviors that no longer require willpower or motivation. You don't need to psych yourself up to brush your teeth or tie your shoes. Why? Because those actions are ingrained. Discipline helps you ingrain the things that matter most, like waking up early, journaling, training, reading, or working on your craft, until they become part of who you are. Motivation tries to inspire you to act. Discipline rewires you to act. 3. Discipline trains your mind. Discipline builds mental toughness, the ability to override impulse and emotion. Every time you choose to do the hard thing when you don't feel like it, you strengthen the part of you that leads instead of follows. This is how you stop being a slave to your feelings and start becoming the kind of person who gets things done, especially when it's uncomfortable. 4. Discipline fuels real confidence. True confidence doesn't come from feeling good. It comes from knowing you can trust yourself. When you live with discipline, you stop breaking promises to yourself. You know that when you say, "I'll do it," you actually will. That self-trust is rare and powerful. It's the quiet strength behind all real progress. 5. Discipline endures where motivation dies. Motivation fails the moment resistance shows up, when you're tired, when results are slow, when no one's watching. But discipline expects resistance. It's built for the long haul. When others quit, discipline keeps going. That's why it works. Bottom line, discipline is not punishment. It's the highest form of self-respect. It's choosing to do what's hard now so life can be easier later. It's the path to freedom, growth, and mastery. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. How to build discipline. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, choice by choice, day by day. Like a muscle, it grows through resistance, repetition, and intentional effort. Here's how to start building unshakable discipline. 1. Start small, but be relentless. Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Discipline grows from small wins, repeated consistently. Want to wake up earlier? Start with 15 minutes. Want to get fit? Commit to 10 minutes of movement daily. Want to write a book? Write 100 words a day. Make the task so small you can't fail, then do it every single day. The key isn't how big the action is. The key is not breaking the chain. You don't need massive effort. You need daily effort. 2. Create systems, not just goals. Goals give you direction. Systems give you traction. A goal is, I want to get in shape. A system is, I train at 7 a.m., 5 days a week. Systems take the decision-making out of your hands. You don't ask if you'll do it. It's already decided. That's discipline in motion. 3. Eliminate choice, reduce friction. Discipline isn't just about willpower. It's about environment. Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Block social media during work hours. Keep your journal on your pillow. Automate your calendar with recurring tasks. Make it easier to stay on track and harder to slip off. Design your life to support the behaviors you want, not tempt the ones you're trying to kill. 4. Embrace discomfort on purpose. Discipline requires doing things that aren't always pleasant, but the discomfort is where the growth lives. Learn to lean into the resistance. The moment you feel like quitting is the moment your discipline has the most room to grow. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you get stronger, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Growth lives on the other side of I don't feel like it. 5. Make discipline your identity. Don't just act disciplined. Become someone who is disciplined. Instead of saying, I'm trying to be consistent, say, I'm a consistent person. Instead of, I want to work out, say, I don't miss workouts. Identity shapes behavior. When you see yourself as a disciplined person, you act accordingly. And the more you act with discipline, the more that identity becomes real. 6. Forgive quickly, restart immediately. Discipline doesn't mean perfection. You will slip. That's normal. The key is not staying down. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until next month. Restart immediately, the same day, the same hour, the same moment. One failure doesn't break your discipline. Quitting does. Building discipline is hard, but living without it is harder. You can either feel the pain of discipline now or the pain of regret later. Next up, would you like to finish this series with how to use motivation the right way? Or conclusion, choose discipline every time. Bonus, how to use motivation the right way. Motivation isn't useless, it's just misunderstood. While you shouldn't rely on motivation to drive your daily habits, you can learn how to use it strategically as a tool to amplify your discipline, not replace it. Here's how to harness motivation the right way. 1. Use it as a spark, not a fuel source. Motivation is like a match. It can ignite a fire, but it can't keep it burning. Let it energize you, inspire you, or help you break through inertia, but don't depend on it to sustain you. That's the job of structure and discipline. Get fired up by motivation. Get carried forward by your system. 2. Anchor it to purpose. The most powerful motivation doesn't come from hype. It comes from meaning. Ask yourself, why does this matter to me? Who am I doing this for? What's at stake if I don't follow through? When motivation is tied to deep personal values, not shallow emotional highs, it lasts longer and aligns with your long-term identity. 3. Ride the wave, but build while it lasts. Motivation tends to come in waves. When it hits, use it to your advantage. Set up better systems. Start a new habit. Knock out something you've been avoiding. Plan ahead for the harder days. Think of it like planting seeds when the weather is good, so the garden grows even when the sun isn't shining. 4. Avoid the motivation trap. The motivation trap is waiting until you feel like it to take action. Don't let inspiration become a requirement. Let it be a bonus. If it shows up, great. If it doesn't, go anyway. The difference between amateurs and professionals? Amateurs act when they're motivated. Professionals act because it's time. 5. Protect your inputs. Motivation, when used well, can be refreshed. What you consume affects how you feel. Read books that challenge and inspire you. Follow people who live what you're trying to build. Listen to content that fuels your mission, not your distractions. Use motivation as a reminder, not a crutch, to refocus, recommit, and realign with your deeper vision. Bottom line, motivation is a guest. Discipline is a resident. Invite motivation in, but let discipline run the house. Conclusion, choose discipline every time. At some point, everyone hits a wall. The excitement fades. The results slow down. The passion dims. And in that moment, you'll face a choice. Do you wait until you feel like it again? Or do you show up anyway? That's where most people fall. That's where disciplined people rise. Motivation is easy to love. It feels good. It's fast, fun, and inspiring. But it's also fleeting, a mood, a spark, a passing wave. Discipline is different. It's quiet, steady, often uncomfortable, but it's the foundation of everything worthwhile. You want a strong body? You'll need discipline. You want deep relationships? You'll need discipline. You want to master your craft, grow spiritually, or lead others? Discipline is non-negotiable. When you build discipline, you stop waiting. You stop starting over. You stop breaking promises to yourself. You become someone you can trust, someone who does the work. Even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one is watching. Motivation might get you moving, but discipline is what makes you unstoppable. So choose discipline every time.